This BIO125. It's a practical course in biology. The course is 1 credit unit. As biology requires, students are expected to carry out this practical course entirely practical. Everything is practical. So before we start, I want to take us through the safety or requirements in our laboratory so that students will not just come in and mess up the whole place, even for their own safety and for the safety of the laboratory staff and even our equipment in the lab. So first of all, for BIO125, it's a 1 credit unit and it's for 2nd semester. First, you look at the safety requirements in the laboratory. 1, you must use laboratory coats all the time. When you are coming to the lab, you must use your laboratory coat. 2, laboratory must be kept dry and clean all the time. Please, when you come into the lab, don't splash water anyhow. You must keep the place dry and neat all the time. Eating, drinking, and smoking is prohibited. These things are not allowed in the lab. So please, when you are eating, stop outside, eat everything before you come into the lab. Use of high heel shoes are not allowed because in the lab there are so many things. You can collapse, you can hit yourself and you collapse and it will be a problem for your ankle and you cause problems in the laboratory. Always wash your hands before leaving the laboratory. Anytime you are through with your work in the lab, clean yourself and leave the lab. When you are hitting the test tube, especially in the lab, you do not point test tube to others. You point it away from others. Take your test tube mouth away from others, and then you hit whatever substance you are hitting. Rules guiding biological diagrams. This is very vital for all of us. You must come in prepared. As biology students, you must always come in ready to do the practical work. And for the practical requirements, these are the things you must need. First of all, you need pencils. Pencils are the only thing allowed in our laboratory. 2, you must draw thin, clear, and continuous line. We don't need wavy lines in biological drawing. Shading is not allowed. You do not shade. Title all diagrams at the bottom. When you have drawn a particular item, let's say you have drawn a cockroach, you label it below. View all diagram indicated. So you have to view all the diagram you have so that you tell us the view. You have to tell us the view, whether it is front view, side view, horizontal, and the rest of them you have to tell us. All diagrams must be more than 10 centimeters except otherwise indicated. This is very important. You do not produce tiny drawings. Anytime you are supposed to draw in our lab, you must, of course, use the measurement of up to 10 centimeters and above if it is not stated. But if it is mentioned, draw 5 centimeters, then you can do that. If it is not mentioned at all, your diagram must be up to or more than 10 centimeters no matter what. Please take the instructions very serious. Magnification must be stated. This is very vital. Magnification is the image of an object so that in any case, sometimes you are reducing, sometimes you are decreasing. If, for instance, you are asked to draw a goat now, you see the goat is very big, and then you can't put the whole goat in your paper. So what you must do is, of course, you draw, then you measure the goat, of course, and then you measure your image in your book. Then you say image over object, then you get the magnification you have. Always label clearly using pencils only. In biology, we only use pencils. Pencils are allowed for drawings. You don't label with biro, you don't draw with biro. If you do otherwise, you will be penalized. Do not reproduce textbook drawings. This is very vital. Diagrams in biology are to be drawn to the object as much as possible, but we don't draw as artists. You don't shade, you don't color. So what you do is you try to make sure that you capture the object properly. Capture the object properly, and then you design it. You make sure it's just one line thick, not wavy lines. You don't use the wavy lines. So make sure that you do not produce it as the textbook diagrams. You use your initiative to draw it properly. draw cut surfaces with double lines. If you have, like for instance, they have asked you to pick a mango and you have cut it, then the surface must be drawn with, you have to draw it with double lines to indicate that it has layers. Anything with layers have to indicate it with double lines. And remember too that dotted lines are not allowed. You do not draw, first of all, make an outline with dot lines. No, you draw straight, and that's why we say clear and continuous line are allowed. Use only ruler to draw label lines. If you have drawn an item or an object, then what you must do on the image is to ensure that you use your ruler to ensure that the lines are horizontal and they are straight. And then you label. Label lines must be horizontal and must not cross each other. You can't take from the ear, for instance, and then cross with the mouth. In that case, it is not correct. Wavy lines are not accepted. When you wavy the lines, nobody will accept that one. Students are not allowed to. Students are allowed to draw the attention of the lecturer or laboratory staff anytime they need assistance. So you are allowed, students, you are allowed, anytime you have difficulties in identifying objects in the laboratory, you are allowed to draw the attention of the staff or the laboratory staff or the lecturer in charge so that they can attend to you. Please do not don't make noise in the laboratory by asking your friend, what is this, what is that? Take permission and raise up your hand and somebody will attend to you. BIO125 is in two sections. We have section A, plan filer, and section B, animal filer. These have to do with two sections. The first aspect of our diagram or manual, it belongs to the plan filer. And so students are expected to take the practical on the followings. One, the fungi, where you know the muco, when you have your bread and when the spots, you see the spot, the dark spots on the bread. This is they have to do with the fungi. The algae, the Spirogyra, which is very clear to us all the time, the bryophyta, pteridophyta, and spermatophyta. In that case, through this plant filer, these specimens will be provided for the students to study across this filer. Section B is the practical in zoology, in animals. This is the animal aspect of the practicals. It will start with the protozoan. We know the protozoans are the single-cell animals. A good example is the amoeba. Then we have the porphyra, the sponges, the cnidaria, the jellyfishes, platyhelminthes, the flatworms, nematoda, roundworms, mollusca, we have the snails and the squids. Then we have the annelida, which are the earthworm and leeches. Then the arthropoda, insects, spiders, and scorpions, and the rest of them. They're all in that file. Then we have the echinodermata, the starfish, and finally we have the vertebrata. These are the mammals. We know that the mammals, of course, are into 5 classes: the pisces, the reptilia, the reptilia, the apes, the mammalia. Under the mammalia, we have all the group of animals which have the backbone. And we know that we have several of them. We human beings are one of them. In this particular course, students will be expected to all the time adhere to the groupings. You are going to be grouped based on the department you belong to, because you must come into the laboratory prepared to touch, to measure, and sometimes to hit the materials that will be given to you. So you must all the time come prepared. You will have orientation in the laboratory where we should move you into different groups. You must obey the groupings, because the groupings are going to be tied down to the departments, and it will tie down based on the time allowed in a week. Because of the number of students, you know that we are going to run the practicals probably from Monday to Friday. So you must adhere to your group. Anytime you miss, then you have to miss the laboratory staff so that you take the remedial of it. You have to take the repeat of it so that you join other groups so that you do these practicals. This is so far the introductory aspect of it. I will come back and take you around to the other aspects of the course. Thank you very much.